All right, here we are. Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. Excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Fitness Athlete Friday, live here on Facebook, live down here on Instagram. At home today, so the camera angle will be a little bit off, so I'll try and look between both cameras. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Rainy and cold here in Michigan. Spring has sprung. Today, we're going to be talking about the CrossFit Coach. So I'll be your host. My name is Alan, COO of ICE, faculty member for the Fitness Athlete Division. And we're going to dive into today, who is this CrossFit Coach? Who is this mysterious person? What kind of letters do they have after their name? Because we know in physical therapy, that's what we care about, it seems, how many letters are after your name. Can this person be trusted with our patients after discharge or sending them over from a prehab perspective? What are their qualifications and what sort of standards of practice exist for CrossFit coaches? We get that question a lot out at our live courses. What kind of standards are in place and enforced by, I don't know, some sort of government agency for these folks? And before we get too deep into it, I'll just say check your bias, right? So just like the standard of care may be a little bit flexible and gray for the CrossFit industry, it's the same for physical therapy, right? So right now, across this great nation, thousands of PTs are rubbing ultrasounds on people's backs and butts for pain, right? So just like the standard of care may be gray for the fitness industry and the CrossFit industry, it's also kind of gray for our own profession, and we should check our bias before we get any further. And just recognize that we don't really have a set standard of care that's enforced across our profession. Either a lot of people are out there doing a lot of crazy stuff for physical therapy and not maybe meeting what we here at ICE or in the ICE community would consider standard practice of care. So let's get into the CrossFit Coach. Who is this person? So this is usually a person that's been doing CrossFit for quite some time that's decided to go on and get certified as a CrossFit coach and go through the CrossFit training. So they may have been doing CrossFit for 6 months or a year or maybe even a couple of years before deciding to pursue CrossFit training. This is somebody who is really, really fitness forward, somebody who is almost always really dialed into nutrition, right? This is usually not a person that's sitting at the desk at the gym eating Burger King, which we can't always say the same about physical therapy, right? There's a lot of fast food and pizza being eaten in physical therapy clinics. And these folks are usually really dialed into recovery and sleep and things like that too. So these folks tend to be very, very fitness forward, very, very active forward, which is the exact kind of message that we like to promote with our patients too. So we're on the same wavelength with these folks already. And these are folks that if they have been coaching for a while, they've been watching hundreds of people do thousands of repetitions every day, every week, right? So they have a lot of experience watching human movement, watching the different ways that human movement can express itself, different squat patterns and deadlift patterns and different little compensations that people tend to have with their movement. So they have a lot of experience watching, coaching, cueing, correcting movement, usually all without hands-on, right? So they're really good at using visual demonstration and words and explanations to get people into good movement patterns and active lifestyle without the use of their hands. So how did they get there? Let's talk about the different levels of CrossFit training. So to begin, you have to go to the CrossFit Level 1 seminar. This is kind of a general overview of the CrossFit methodology, constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. A broad overview of most of the movements found in CrossFit. It doesn't dial in all of them. So you cover the squat movements, the air squat, the front squat, the back squat, the overhead squat. You cover the different hip hinge movements, the deadlift, the sumo deadlift high pull, and the medicine ball clean. You cover the different press movements, the strict press, and push jerk. And then you get a little bit into gymnastics, pull-ups, muscle-ups, that sort of thing. How to teach them, how to coach them, how to cue them, how to correct them. And at least from my experience, what I found to be the most powerful thing at the CrossFit Level 1 course was just the discussion on using CrossFit style training, basically just using exercise and nutrition to combat the chronic health crisis, right? So these folks are on the same page as us as getting people moving, getting them off medicine and keeping them out of the healthcare system. And also at the course, you learn a little bit about nutrition and recovery. So that's the basics. That's what a CrossFit Level 1 coach has. So if you are looking for a gym in your area or looking for a gym to refer patients to and you see L1 after somebody, that's the kind of experience that they have. They may have other experience, but that's what they get from the CrossFit Level 1 seminar. And that's all you need to start, right? That's all you need to start coaching. That's technically all you need to start a gym, right? Is to have your CrossFit Level 1 training and pay the affiliate fee to CrossFit and open a gym. And that tends to scare physical therapists, right? There's no regulation. It's all free market. But again, kind of back to physical therapy itself. Physical therapy is not too different, right? You go through school, you probably learn something completely different from somebody that goes to a school in the next city over. You take a similar exam, which changes over time. You get your license and then you're good to go, right? There's really no check on your practice by the government or a state agency as long as you're not hurting people and you're not committing any sort of malpractice. So again, like physical therapy, not too different as far as it being a little bit less regulated than maybe we'd like to see. So after the Level 1 training, what training is open to these folks? A lot of coaches will go on to their Level 2 seminar. So this is kind of a course where the coaches get coached, helping coaches get dialed in on how they coach, how they cue, how they correct, fine-tuning their movement assessment and correction skills, learning how to better identify different faults, and then really getting dialed into programming and how it relates to understanding how to scale and modify movements for different athletes. So at least in my opinion, and I know Mitch shares the same opinion, the true CrossFit coach should probably be a Level 2 coach. They've gone through the basics, but they've also been run through another course where their coaching has been critiqued. So almost like a fellows only weekend if you've gone through fellowship where you are really critiqued one-on-one with some folks who have been doing it for a very long period of time. So that's the Level 2 seminar. There are other specialty courses within CrossFit working with older adults and kids and adaptive athletes that these coaches may have. And then you may see a CrossFit Level 3 coach. So this is basically just a written test, basically just a license test, a whole bunch of different textbooks and articles to read, scholarly journals to read, to know all the material, and then go and sit and take a standardized test at a testing center just like the NPTE and get your Level 3 certification in being a CrossFit coach. So those folks are more rare out there. But if you do see them, know that they've gone through a lot of didactic stuff. So they have the practical and the hands-on stuff already, but they've gone through a lot of didactic stuff also to get to that Level 3. And to get that Level 3, you have to have a lot of coaching hours under your belt as well, 750 hours of coaching. So aside from just CrossFit training, what else do these folks have? A lot of these folks have a lot of experience working. A lot of them have been doing it for a long time. Some of them have been doing it since the beginning of CrossFit almost. They've been doing it for decades, right? So it's funny to talk to these folks and tell them that, that we're on this crusade against chronic disease, and they just kind of nod their head and think, yeah, man, yeah, I know. I've been doing it for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years. They've been in this fight and been in the trenches for a long period of time. So you may meet those coaches out there who have a lot of experience, who are on the same page as us. A lot of them have a background in exercise science or sports medicine or exercise physiology already. So they're not uneducated, right? They're not just high school students that are working as personal trainers at the Globo Gym. They have a lot of experience under their belt, both practical and academic. Some of them may be a full-time coach at the gym. That's all they do. That's their job, is just coach CrossFit classes. Some of them may have a little specialty. They may be a coach at the gym, but they may be the gym nutritionist or the postpartum coach, or they may do the programming for the gym. So they may wear a second hat at the gym, or some of them may just have a normal job, right? They may coach a few classes a week and do something else 9 to 5, whatever that might be. So not unlike physical therapists, they have a wide breadth and depth of experience as well. So we get asked this question a lot in our Essential Foundations course. We get this question a lot on the road is, should I become a CrossFit coach if I'm a PT? What sort of benefit would I get? Why should I be a coach in the gym versus just a PT that refers people to the gym, or a PT that sees patients from the gym? What kind of relationship would that look like for me? I would say that you would get rapidly up to speed on human movement, a lot more so than just working with patients in the clinic, right? You get really, really dialed into watching people move, to identifying movement faults, and just learning the power that coaching and cueing can have on improving movement with people versus always feeling the need to put your hands on, right? We like to touch people. We like to mobilize and manipulate and needle and cup, and certainly at ICE, we do some of that stuff here, but you learn that, if you are diligent with your coaching and you give really good cues, people can show you really good movement without you ever touching them, which can be really, really powerful. And you start to understand the influence that you have on a community, right? So we want to get into this population health sphere. We want to move the health of populations and not just reduce symptoms of folks one-on-one, and you understand the role that the CrossFit coach has in that, right? Getting dozens or hundreds of people moving a day, moving well, burning calories, keeping diabetes and high blood pressure away, and just living an active, healthy lifestyle that translates to all the stuff they want to do outside of the gym. And you start to understand the impact that you can have moving beyond the one-on-one to the 10-on-1, the 15-on-1, the 20-on-1. You start to be able to promote good nutrition, things like active recovery and sleep, and with gym members, and just kind of keep folks healthy and moving on a regular basis and out of the healthcare system, which I think is super powerful. My main goal is to keep humans out of the healthcare system, especially the American healthcare system, as much as I possibly can. And you certainly see the role that the CrossFit coach has in that when you are going to CrossFit, and if you go on to become a CrossFit coach yourself. Furthermore, you can really work with the other coaches in the gym to help those athletes who are just not responding well to a coaching or cueing movement. Maybe something is going on mobility wise, maybe something is going on with a little bit of pain, and you can start to give those folks those little corrective exercises and mobility homework that's going to translate well to them performing well at the gym and increase their performance and keep them coming to the gym over a long period of time. And you start to become that true primary care provider that we so desperately want to be, but really can't be when we're in the traditional clinic setting working one-on-one, keeping a large body of folks moving and out of the healthcare system. And as Mitch and I often joke about, closing the loop, right? Keeping folks moving between the gym and maybe a little bit of physical therapy, rehab, prehab, back and forth, but not going to see their primary care doctor, not going to see their orthopedic surgeon and getting an image, not getting pills, not getting injections, not getting scopes, not getting surgery, right? Keeping folks active and healthy and moving over their lifespan. So what are the cons? Well, the cons are you won't get rich being a CrossFit coach, right? You're probably going to take a little pay hit. Physical therapists are super obsessed with money, despite our profession being about passion and caring, right? I often am told that folks won't do X if it doesn't pay at least Y per hour. So you're not going to hit whatever that goal is for sure as a CrossFit coach, right? You're going to take a little pay dump, and it's probably going to mean, at least when you first start, working weird hours. You're not going to get the nice 3 p.m. class. You're not going to get the nice 4 p.m. class. You're probably going to start off as the super early morning coach at 5 a.m. or the late evening coach at 6 or 7 p.m. or the weekend coach at 8 a.m. on Saturdays, right? You're going to probably have to jump into those weird spots that the new people tend to start out at least when you begin. But that's okay. If that's for you, then you'll fit in well there. The pros are that you are bought into the system, right? You are a physical therapist, but you're also the coach at a gym, right? People see that you walk it like you talk it, that you smoke your own dope, and that no one is more trusted than you, right? Folks aren't going to go see the chiropractor across town or the orthopedic surgeon across town because they know they're going to be told to stop CrossFit. They know they have access to you right there in the gym, which is super, super powerful. And finally, the last benefit is that you get to wear Lululemon to work, which is super comfortable and awesome. So some pros and cons, but overall, I think the pros outweigh the cons. Maybe weird hours and not as much money can be offset by having a lot of fun and keeping a large group of people moving. helping these coaches better understand how to keep athletes moving over a long period of time, understand stuff like nutrition and recovery and sleep, and just recognize that these folks are really, really, really dialed in to exactly what we want folks to be dialed into, right? Staying active, staying moving, staying out of the healthcare system, eating right, sleeping well, managing their stress. All the stuff we talk about here at ICE is happening through those CrossFit coaches and in those CrossFit gyms. So consider it. I always recommend folks to at least take the level 1 seminar. It is expensive, but I think it's worth it. To me, it was worth it just to see how dialed in an organization can be with how we want to practice and treat people as physical therapists, that we really are on the same page. And maybe that means coaching, maybe that means not, but people see that L1 after your name and they know that you're bought into the system, that you believe the same stuff, and that goes a very, very, very long way. Whether or not that translates to you actually coaching at a gym or not, I think it's very, very powerful stuff. So give that some thought. Happy to answer some questions. We get that question a lot. Should I get my L1? Should I get my CSCS? Should I get this? Should I get that? So that's a little bit of info about what it means to be a CrossFit coach, who these folks are in our community, and how we can help them keep a community of people moving for a long, long period of time. So that's all I've got for you folks. Hope you have a happy Easter if you're celebrating Easter this Sunday. Next weekend, Jeff is going to be out in Phoenix with Tim Fearon, doing a manual therapy course, combined ICE and Phoenix manual therapy. Justin is going to be up in Canada, in Ontario, for a total spine thrust course. And then we have Fitness Athlete Live if you want to catch Zach or Mitch out on the road. Same weekend, May 4th and 5th. Mitch will be up in British Columbia. Zach will be in Portland, Oregon. And then May 12th, our CERT APHPT course starts if you want to get dialed into all this population health stuff that we're always rapping about. So that's all I've got for you folks. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.